DIY.
This one was actually through podcast by someone named Ray Daniels. He had a guest on there named Troy Carter. He is the co-founder of a platform called Venice Music. But he talks about how he believes that we're in a creative pandemic right now, and artists have to stop creating with anxiety.
I think we're going through a creative pandemic. You feel like you got to keep up. You're rushing to put stuff out. You put this stuff up on TikTok. I got to see if I'm getting comments on this or likes on this. I got to see if I'm getting followers here. You're creating with anxiety. Tell James Cameron that you want to put out Avatar 5 tomorrow. No, I'm going to take 12 years because he likes to invest in the creative process. Steven Spielberg wants to invest in a creative process. You can't rush these things.
I agree, and I think that we're the last ones to recognize it. Wouldn't it be our generation, overly anxious human beings who spend an unhealthy amount of time in front of our screens, our cell phones, and as we are kind of the guinea pigs of studies that are probably being done right now to fully understand the effects that has on our mental health, on our productivity, wouldn't we be the ones going through a creative pandemic in which we feel a strong necessity because of these companies, these social media companies? If your marketing does not include some kind of social media presence, good luck, my friend. When that has been the presentation, I think that us who are already anxious in our own right, probably part of the reason why we find so much peace and solace in our art form, we're already anxious. It makes a lot of sense that we would be the ones affected, probably the worst, by this. I see so many artists, bro, that I could tell they weren't content creators from the jump. I've been a content creator before content creator was even a thing. I just didn't know it. I got my first camera. I was recording everything. I was the one that was like, man, put that camera away. 2005, 2006, I was doing vlogs. They weren't called vlogs. I just thought it was me interviewing myself. Dumbass Curtis. I was just putting the camera up and acting like I'm playing the keys, one finger at a time. I didn't know that was content creation. But that's what I naturally did without somebody telling me I have to wear that hat. But I see so many artists now who feel so much pressure to not only create content. They feel like a fish out of water because not only do you have to do that, they got to do it every single day according to what society says. I do feel like we are in a bit of a creative pandemic where folks are like quantity, 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 quantity. And yes, although that is the truth of how the way that you get to quality is through quantity, I think that having an approach that starts with peace within you can absolutely execute on some of the same goals that you're trying to execute by just being prolific.
A lot of creators are creating with anxiety.
Imagine creators creating with anxiety, which probably fits. We probably have a lot of us in here that fit that mold. If you're already somebody who is already struggling with anxiety, you already are in interaction with anxiety, why would that not follow you in a thing that soothes your anxiety? AKA music. And we're in constant swarms of anxiety on a daily basis, that we wouldn't know it if it did leave. Have you ever had that feeling where like things is going too good and you feel too cool and you're like, something's missing. Where's my friend anxiety at? Oh, there you are, back to normal. That's how we've been programmed. So why would it not find its way into our art? Then when you think about it from that perspective, it starts making a lot of the music we hear make sense. So much of the music now is so fast paced. It's so bright. It's so dopamine spiking. It's just a lot going on, right? A lot of drops and transitions, a lot of crazy stuff that you see me do all the time. But it's like that. And I'm like, I wonder how much of that is the sound of the time and how much the time is actually influenced by an influx of anxiety and whether that has the ultimate effect upon where the music is going. I can tell you already, the drugs influence that. You look at any era of music in any time, the drugs ultimately determine the sound of that time period. Rush, rush to the yayo. Run, run to the yayo. Like, it doesn't matter what era you go to. The drugs ultimately determine the sonics of the music. So, if we have a sound of the day, think about the drugs of the day. Lean, fentanyl, weed, even though that's legalized, I wouldn't put that high on the list. But there have been studies that say in certain people, it's a chemical strand within weed that can induce more anxiety. I know for me and sativa could never be friends. I'm already somebody that is naturally energetic. I don't need Red Bull for that. You give me sativa, I will want to fight you till the evening. Indica, cool me out. I want to relax.
Feel like you got to keep up. You're rushing to put stuff out. You put this stuff up on TikTok. I got to see if I'm getting comments on this or likes on this. I got to see if I'm getting followers here. You're creating with anxiety. Tell James Cameron that you want to put out Avatar 5 tomorrow.
Tell George Lucas, I know you got that whole anthology with everything that you've been working on. You got all them books in there, but we need you to put Star Wars out by the end of the night. Yeah, you got me?
No, I'm going to take 12 years because he likes to invest in the creative process. Steven Spielberg wants to invest in the creative process.
Now, I take that with a grain of salt like I do most things. Everybody ain't meant to be Steven Spielberg. Everybody ain't meant to be James Cameron. I always take it with a grain of salt when we use other people as the exceptions to the rule. I agree with the notion. But using these folks, no, everybody ain't them. Those particular directors have the luxury of taking 12 years off and knowing that they have money that's going to last them a lifetime. Part of the anxiety that pushes people, creatives specifically, into wanting to be prolific with their work is not knowing what it's going to look like in a year for them, not knowing what it's going to look like next week for them, having anxiety financially about their bare necessities not being taken care of, and art possibly being their best escape out of their current financial circumstances. Although that's operating with a mindset of scarcity, it's one step at a time with these folks. It's one step at a time. It was that way with me. Somebody had to give me grace. And somebody had to give me an opportunity to understand, like, yeah, the mindset is what's ultimately stopping you from leveling up in what you're doing. So I think with the artists that are moving, the producers that are out there like yourself, who may be moving with anxiety towards your goals, here's a lesson that I figured out after spending an average of 20 hours on those short film producer videos that I made last year. I spent 20 hours on every single edit in particular. Didn't matter which one it was, 20 hours plus. Fast forward to now, I spent about an hour and a half maybe editing the video, putting the thumbnail together for these new videos. And the numbers, they're knocking it out the park. So I'm actually getting more movement doing less work. Go figure. I did all that brute work probably because of the anxiety I had of knowing that my business went through a really, really down period the year before and feeling like I had to come out and I had to hit a home run. Take it from me. More work doesn't necessarily equal out to better results. Quicker work doesn't equal out to better results. Faster work doesn't equal out to better results. Nobody is going to be able to promise you that those will be the results. You can punch a brick wall hard as you can with all of your might, and the harder you hit, the more it hurts your ass. I think I'm breaking down the brick wall. I see crumbs. That's your skin coming off your fist. Oh, it don't matter. Some things don't require brute force. Some things require a period of study. Some things require finesse. And that's something that you're going to have to learn from experience rather than apply brute force to until it breaks for you. Everything doesn't apply that way. The times that I stressed over trying to get something done, the results sounded stressful. It sounded chaotic. The times where I was like, I don't know what this is going to do, but I'm moved. I'm moved to continue the process and see it through, were the times that I actually made some work that gave me the best results. It's not up to me of why it works like that, but it is up to me to control the elements that I can. And most of the time, if I can control the chaos within, there's nothing outside that could ever disrupt that. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.